Hey guys, welcome back to another Foundry review. We have the final episode of Hawkeye coming at you today. We got the whole gang, well, almost the whole gang. We got myself, we got Johnny, we got Sly. Tony wasn't able to make it, but we got most of us here. How's it going, guys?
What's happening? Well, the finale.
What a excited for this.
Dude, yes. This was a very interesting episode. A lot happens, and I didn't know how they were going to wrap a whole lot of stuff up. And for those, we're just starting this recording, but just before this, we were talking about Daredevil, and so I have a little bit more appreciation of this episode. So because I've been watching it a little bit before.
So,
this,
did you watch?
This is very interesting.
Did you watch some Daredevil after this episode or before?
I didn't watch Daredevil until after this episode. So
Okay,
coming,
so
like,
all right.
since we're reviewing this a little bit after the fact, I now have a bit more appreciation for this character, like as we're talking about it and
Yeah.
like remembering what happens.
Yeah, as you finish like the episode, like finish the whole series of Daredevil, you'll realize like, wow, like this is actually pretty cool to see this villain, this character in here, because you realize the impact that he can have.
Yes,
Compared to
exactly.
what actually happened in Hawkeye. And still, like, it's awesome to see that crossover because we've seen, like, a lot of important characters in the Netflix series, like the Netflix Marvel stuff, like a lot, like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. Like, those are some big characters. And to see them, like, incorporate, to see that small little link with Kingpin, it's like, yes, like, that's awesome. And plus, there's some Spider-Man stuff as well, but I don't want to get into that because that movie's still very new. And there's a link in Spider-Man as well that links the show with the Marvel Netflix stuff that came out a couple years ago. But it's very hopeful, and it made me like this episode a lot more just for the fact of the fact of Daredevil crossovers. That was really important. I thought this episode was like pretty okay. I honestly, episode 3 is still my favorite. Like, it's still my favorite. It was funny. It was emotional. It had all the bread and butter that I was hungry for. But I felt like this was okay. But like you said, it had a lot to wrap up and felt like it was kind of rushed and almost I couldn't appreciate it enough.
Yeah, there were some things that pulled me a little bit out of this episode, but I guess we'll talk about them as we're kind of going through what happens along this episode.
Yep.
So yeah, where does this one picks up
Immediately with Kingpin, doesn't it?
Yeah, we cut
see
to him in the classic white suit.
Oh yeah,
yes,
and his
classic.
cane, his iconic cane.
True.
Yeah, he was looking
I
like
felt like I was
bad
watching.
motherfucker.
I feel like I was watching the original Daredevil movie, which is terrible. but
Oh, Ben
it
Affleck.
has- yes.
Do
and
you remember
their
they
punishment?
they contracted a sequel for Elektra that did fucking horrendous, but it was it was in the contract that they had to fucking make it still, even though the Daredevil movie bombed. They're like, you still have to make this fucking movie, so everyone's like, all right, let's take this dump.
C- effort.
Yeah,
Here we
fucking
go.
really.
It reminded me, seeing him with the cane. It reminded me of the legendary actor, rest in peace. I remember his interpretation of Kingpin. He also had the cane, and he was terrifying. He was excellent.
Damn. It's amazing what a cane can do.
Yeah, that was an interesting like version of Fisk. I liked it a lot. Bullseye was fucking funny in the movie too. Anyways,
Yeah, so this scene, this just kind of adds to like it really kind of shows you his character a bit more, because in the Hawkeye series you don't see much of him.
not
Obviously,
at all.
they wait until the last
No.
minute to reveal, but you can kind of see like his intimidating nature. Like when the camera comes in, I think it's like at a low angle shooting up at him, so you're like he looks daunting, just like
Oh
walking
yeah,
in.
they do that very well. Whenever that King version of Kingpin's on the screen, like he's the actor, he's a big guy, like, but the way they film it, they're like he towers over fucking people, and I love that too.
Yeah,
I love
mean,
that.
in the comics, he's a large guy, so it makes
Like
sense.
you see him in the Spider-Verse movie with Miles Morales, like he looks
dude,
goofy in that.
comically
Bro,
large.
guy's bigger than Rhino. I'm almost certain he's bigger than Rhino.
Paul Giamatti, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he kind of conducts himself as a businessman, and at first I was like, what the hell? Like this fucking like monopoly man with all this money and power and like friends is like in this shitty warehouse with Christmas lights. But then I was talking to
Right.
Tony about it, and then he mentions like, remember, Ronan, took down like so many crime syndicates all over the world. So it kind of makes sense to a degree that he's underground and that things seem out of place, like himself. Things
Sure.
aren't put together in the right places right now. Like he's not at the top of the world. He's not in a penthouse somewhere in some kind of hotel or some big business building or anything like that, or just somewhere nice. And I'm like, that's actually a really good point, that he's like not really in hiding, but definitely out of place.
Yeah, his business has been somewhat crippled thanks to Clint's actions. Yeah,
Yeah, good job,
True.
Ronan. Fuck,
Yeah.
great.
peaked. Yeah,
I know you made Kingpin sad. Now you gotta die.
There you go. Die. Yeah. So that's where we start, and then I guess it goes back to Kate seeing this footage on her phone. And like it's irrefutable evidence. It's Kingpin and her mom. So like, what are you gonna
Just
do?
palling around, like dabbing it up, like saw dude and shit. Just sharing around together, a pint with the lads.
Yeah.
No, it was just her saying like, "Hey, I quit. Like, I can't do this. It's affecting my family too much." And Kingpin's like, "Come on, you and
We've
me.
been good partners. What are you doing?
Like, don't be stupid." And then she's like,
get-
"Nah, I'm done." And then the Kingpin's like, "Okay," and she's dead. Like, we're gonna kill her.
Yeah.
We get some backstory about how they first linked up, and it was because of the deceased husband.
Yes.
So our suspicions were a little bit off, but at the same time,
somehow still correct. Some fucking how. I
Yeah.
don't know how.
Sheer luck.
I don't.
Disney
I,
was just lazy. That's what it was.
I
Yeah.
don't know how. Your hive mind with your Disney bullshit, Sly.
I'm sorry.
Hey, it works. It works.
It works. Yeah.
It works. But I think one of the parts that pulled me out of this episode comes up right after this when Kate was all like, she was kind of freaking out, and Clint was trying to calm her down, and is this where he says, "I'm your partner"? I'm like, oh, what? That doesn't feel right. Like they haven't been working together long enough to be like, "I'm your partner." I know he's doing it to like cheer her up, but like
make her
it
feel
sounded
better
like
and
he
stuff.
kind of meant it in the moment. I was
Yeah.
like, but this feels a little rushed. Like I know it's a TV show, but like the span of what's happened in the TV show hasn't been long enough.
It's been like
to make
2
me
days, 3
believe it.
days.
Yeah, because they've been fighting up until then, kind of. So that brought me out a little bit, but other than that, like everything so far has been okay.
Yeah, a lot of weird stuff like that. Like it's so weird throughout the entire show. It's been like good and bad chemistry. It's like nothing in between. It's like either really good or just really bad between them. I don't know.
True. Yeah.
The
It's just
writing
kind
was
of
like
off.
just kind of
Hit or
different.
miss.
Yeah, just exactly hit or miss on some of this shit. I didn't get it. Did not get
Dude,
it.
it might be a case where they have multiple directors for each episode, kind of a thing, and they just weren't like in sync on what was going on potentially. I don't know if that's the case.
That
but-
could be with the same with the writers, just different
Yeah.
writers on different story. I don't know. Different
It could
case
be.
or
Like,
something.
interpret things differently. Yeah, it's bad. You want to have like a unified vision, even if your way of portraying it differs scene to scene. But overall, it needs to be consistent.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
needs to feel consistent, at least for the viewer, which is important. Which it did
Yes.
not.
No,
Yep.
not at all.
Did not.
Uh,
Yeah, there's just at some point, like I wrote my notes here. It's just like she had fun chemistry with him at some points of the episode. Then other points it was just kind of like not great. It seems like if they're not cheery, if she's not cheery, having fun, and he's like fuck off, then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
yeah.
What do we
When
think
it's
about her
he's the old
chemistry
dude
with,
being like crotchety and she's being like, young and full of energy, then it works pretty
Santa's
well.
real, kind of thing
Yep.
going on.
Yeah.
What do we think about her chemistry with Yelena Belova?
It's fun.
I
It's
feel like
fun.
it's I would agree with that. It's
Does it feel a little campy?
Well, yeah, I feel like the show as a whole feels.
I think
very
that's what they were
campy.
going for, like
Yeah.
purposefully. And so like, all right, fair. I think they were just trying to have, I don't know. They're trying to have a little bit of a comedic moment, even though it's serious.
Mm.
Yeah.
Both characters are a little bit more laxed. They're not like, I guess they're both kind of like.
It was
very
just
relaxed
weird
when it
because
comes to that.
I feel like they established some kind of a weird thing to where like Yelena's not a threat to her and vice versa. Like they're just not a threat to each other. And I feel like if they didn't establish that, maybe like it'd feel more serious. but they've been so nice and giddy with each other and shit like that. And she just made very clear, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just here to kill Clint. Like, I do not care about you. You are not a threat to me." And I don't know. I just I didn't take them serious when they were fighting too, and when they're talking, I just didn't take anything that they're doing serious. And I didn't like how Kate Bishop seemed very childish and immature around Yelena
Yeah.
because it just seemed kind of childish, and the whole thing is like everyone sees her as a stupid kid, and I feel like that really hurt her character development at towards the end of the series because you want to see her grow up, and I don't know, just grow up. Like that's kind of what you want her to see, like as a
She's
younger
supposed to be learning
character.
from Clint. Yeah. You'd
Exactly.
expect her to have some growth, but no.
Yeah, she's just super arrogant at the beginning, and like proves that her arrogance gets where she wants. Like breaking into Maya's apartment. Her arrogance proved herself right, and I just feel like she didn't have any character development, like at all.
Yeah, she kind of needed to have some consequences for some of her actions a little bit more. Like obviously some of it, I mean the whole show hinges on her, having consequences of her actions. But like some smaller things on like some of the other interactions would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you're right. Not a lot of consequences and it's weird because as we're watching, we expect no consequences. Like, which is
Yeah.
funny too. It's like, okay, I don't need to say this because like I already know what's gonna happen because she doesn't have any consequences. Like I don't.
Yeah, it's just kind of a weird mix because it's like it feels like it should be more of a grounded show and there should be lots of consequences for them running around and like driving a car through the city and like shooting stuff up, but there were none. Even though like they're both just like normal people. They're not rich. They don't have connections. I mean,
Yeah.
Clint has connections, but like he's not gonna call up his connections. Be like, oh, dude, I just ran a red light. You gotta help me out.
Dude,
That kind of shit.
can we talk about speaking of consequence? Can we talk about Jack just fucking killing people left and right at the end of the episode with this fucking sword, just killing people?
Oh, dude, yeah,
He
that
was
was
just slicing and dicing. It was like Kill Bill. It's like a more fucking just Kill Bill with no blood. Like he just grabs a sword. He's like, my time is now. Shing, shing, shing. Just fucking slicing dudes. And
I have a
shit.
hot take on Jack.
All right,
He
this
was,
hot
in
take.
my opinion, a useless character for the
Yes.
season. He didn't fit the story. And at the very end, he especially didn't fit.
yes.
I don't know.
I
why
thought
he
it was kind
there.
of funny. They 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 did that all just to kind of set up a joke. It seemed because
Exactly.
They spent a lot
I mean,
of
he
time on
was.
it too. On
I
his.
think he did
Sorry.
have somewhat of a purpose in that he was supposed to throw you off and like have you think he was the villain.
Yeah, misdirect.
So he had some of that purpose, but like otherwise not really. So I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, not
Johnny,
a
you were
lot
gonna
of
say something?
purpose there. I was gonna say like they spent a lot of time on his character, like a lot of fucking time and effort on his character about him being
Yeah.
suspicious about the murders, about his family. I don't know. He just spent a lot of time on it, and I was just like, damn, all that just for him to. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, it's just a joke
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
bit.
I thought it
whole
was
thing.
funny, but still.
Yeah, but it's like, they had so much potential with him, that you're setting it up. And it's like, okay, you're going to use him as a one-off gag?
Yeah.
That's it? This
Yeah.
whole time, just for that.
It was really weird, cringy, some stuff with the firefighter team and whatnot that were
I-
helping them at the end. They're like
My
role
least
playing.
favorite scene was the LARPers being like, we know what we have to do.
the LARPer
Suit up.
stuff.
So stupid. I liked the original scene where they had like, their little like challenge with Clint, but this, no.
Yeah, this one felt off. I agree.
They
It was just,
definitely
like,
did not need to be there.
No.
I mean, it was kind of cool to see them like in the whatever benefit thing, like
Oh,
mic'd up and whatever, and being like, "Yeah, dude, we lost your mom," or like calling out stuff. I was like, "Oh, cool." They're like they're serving a purpose right now. And then at the end when they're trying to help, like I see what they were trying to do and have like normal people feel like they could help out and be heroes,
Yeah.
but it felt the way they did it felt awkward. I agree with you. I agree.
Very stupid indeed.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Maya? Her her fucking shitty character. Just they're like there was
What
like
are you
check.
talking about at the end
They
of the
had
episode, or
they
like
had
in
they had a
between?
three like they had a checklist. Is Maya good? Maya. It was just like she's like last episode they're like working on her like all right there's distrust between Maya and the goons like for good reason because of her father's death so okay like she's distrusting talks to Kingpin once and she's like okay and then he's like we gotta fucking kill her. That's his response to everything. I love it.
Let me clear my mind. So you need to whack her, all right?
It's like let me clear it for you loads 9. And
Like
it's
you know what to do. I do. She just needs a couple days off. What do you mean?
Take the shovel.
And then
She did.
immediately, like, she's just like, I'm going to kill Kingpin. It's like, what evidence does she have that Kingpin hired Ronan or gave Ronan the tip or whatever to kill her dad?
Strictly
And, like,
Clint's word. That's it.
and it was
Strictly
just,
Clint's
it
word.
was like he implied it. Like, he implied it. It was nothing concrete. And all of a sudden, she's going to kill the only father figure, like, who's been, not the only, he's been in her life since she was fucking young as shit for the past 20 years, maybe. And she's
The
just
only-
like, I'm going to kill him. Sorry, go
The
ahead.
only excuse she has is Clint's word, which that's not enough to go off of. And then Kazi, how he was sweating bullets when she was asking him, like, "Hey, why weren't you there that night?"
Kazi was also terrible in this
What?
episode.
I'm gonna be honest. I never liked Kazi. This just
Yeah.
ruined Kazi for me. This was like, oh my god. Like I kind of wanted to just like hold him down and let her slit his throat
Yeah.
for
Well,
like,
when
why are-
when
like-
he fought Hawkeye and he got his shit pushed in, that was good.
Yeah.
that was
That was satisfying.
I don't know why every single character we see has to be a fucking pushover.
for real.
Except
Yeah.
Maya,
I
she's pretty
didn't-
good. Through it.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of him and Maya's stuff. I feel like they needed to sow a few more like seeds of doubt earlier
Yes.
on, or like show like in her younger days she was always a little bit suspicious of him or something, you know. But how would you do that when you waited until the last episode to truly reveal, you know, Kingpin? It's like now you don't have enough time.
They need
So-
to do a lot of overhaul on her character if she's going to have her own standalone show. Because if this is the Maya we're getting in that series, that show is going to bomb.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're gonna do in that show.
I was I was laughing when it's like, oh, she put her hair down. That's how you know she's good now.
I
I'm
didn't
like,
recognize
really?
her at first.
Yeah,
She
for
looked so different
real.
with her hair
I
down.
just thought it was fucking funny. I'm just like that's funny. I'm like, that means she's good now. Okay, that makes fucking sense, you know? That makes so much fucking sense. What you see any kind of fucking female in any kind of combat fucking sport anywhere in the world, they put their fucking hair up out of their goddamn face. So when she's gonna put herself in like in harm of her life where she may die, other people may die, lives are at stake, she's like, I'm gonna put my hair down because people have to know that I'm going through changes. Like,
Because I'm free now.
it's just like, that's so dumb. It's just like so dumb. Like, we're not fucking stupid. Like, we know that she has like shit on her mind now.
Yeah,
annoying.
it's the classic trope. I mean, it is symbolic in some way. I see that, but
Yeah, but
you know, in context of the story, it doesn't make sense
no.
unless she wasn't expecting to fight. But there's no way she went up to that dude and didn't
No.
think she was gonna fight.
She
Like, come
knew
on.
what she was doing. She
She
came
knew.
back.
Yeah, she knew. So it was. I agree.
Yeah, it was
It-
just
it
kind
was- it
of
was kinda
there was
dumb.
just a lot of stuff that I was just like, that's dumb, dude. Like, that's dumb. The show's like the show should not be this dumb. Like, come on, dude. It just shouldn't.
So we have a couple other, I think, fights to talk about as well. We have the Clint and Yelena, and then we also have the Kingpin and Kate fight.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of both of those?
I like the touchy moment with Black Widow's sister Yelena and Clint. Like, that was nice, and he was just like, "Hey, like, you're hurting. I know you're hurting. Like, if this is gonna fucking help you, just like let me tell you the truth first, you know." But he's
I
just
loved
like,
that part, but I hated how we got there because I felt like I was watching Batman versus Superman again. How do you know that whistle? That's what it reminded me of.
"Oh
and I
yeah,
was like,
that bullshit."
Why? I was like, do you tell me? Now, the only way I could see this working is every like person that Yelena kills, she does the whistle as like a thing to honor Nat. But like,
Yeah.
if she's just doing that, it's just way too convenient. And I'm like, God damn it! Like,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was too bad. I feel like the way I saw it was more like he did it, and it was like enough to throw her off
Yeah.
to like second guess herself.
I do love that. I love like, he should have known about the whistle and he knew about Yelena, obviously. I
Mhm.
love that. But it hurt me.
Wasn't the right
that it
time
took-
for that.
Yes, precisely. Thank
I
you.
see what you're saying. Sure.
Precisely.
Makes sense. Do you
You
Um,
understand me?
Yeah, just for me, like a lot of the stuff is forgettable. Like when you guys are like kind of running down a lot of the stuff that happened. I'm glad that you guys know and paid like that much attention to it. I've just got like a lot of brief notes that like I wanted to hit for sure.
Sean's like, I didn't
Yeah.
even watch this episode, truth be told.
It wouldn't be the first time. Well,
What series are we reviewing?
and then so I guess for the Kingpin and Kate fight, I thought it was interesting. So having not fully watched Daredevil, I don't know the true power of Kingpin, but
not
he
business.
seemed almost indestructible based on this fight because she
Yeah.
was just wailing away, like explosions basically on him. He got like hit by a car and like he was fine. And so I was like, holy shit, this guy means business. But then she somehow still takes him out. I was like, okay, now you lost me again, because there's no way that this young girl who has like no, I mean, she did use all the trick arrows, but it
That's
just,
true.
I was like, I
She
feel
should have
like
been knocked out from like his punches and
she
throws.
should have had to try harder. It
Yeah,
should have
like-
felt like it was more of like a struggle. It didn't to me
Yeah.
feel like
This guy yeeted her into another dimension and snapped every freaking arrow like a Slim Jim in his hands. Like he was tearing open a freaking, what are those yellow books? Whatever, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh
Phone books.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tore that. I agree. It didn't feel like it was enough effort in that fight. But I'm guessing that's also because this is MCU, a little lighter than like Daredevil, for example, which is a lot more
Oh, yeah.
punch your face until you bleed, whereas this is more like woo. Like
Yeah.
a little more sunshine and rainbows, but
Yeah.
like still have some grit, you know.
Hey, obviously Jack cutting people open. There was no blood shown, you know. He's over here making kebabs.
Like I said, they drained all these people first. You know,
Knife
I don't
goes
know,
in,
yeah.
guts come out.
He's got to upgrade that sword, you know. That's how he
Yeah.
like gets levels on his sword.
Maybe he's a. Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, maybe he's a LARPer too. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot they invited him to go LARPing. It's like, oh fucking thank God they got a new member of LARPers are us.
Yeah.
John, what were your thoughts on the Kingpin fight?
I was a little disappointed. I was just like, all right, like he should pick her up and snap her neck with his thumb by holding her up in the air. But I'm like, yeah, he can't do. You can't do that. But he's a dangerous fucking man who will
He
treat
ripped our door off.
he'll treat anyone like a fucking rag doll, man. And it was just like when he was fighting her, it's just like debuffed. Like he had no power or aggression or strength or anything. And instead of making her seem stronger, he just seemed weaker, which is a problem, I think. And then I was really disappointed by the end as well when he was supposedly shot off screen.
I know what they're
Maya.
setting up. I'm just disappointed they set it up so soon.
Yeah, yeah, he didn't have the best like integrity like by the end of this episode, which kind of sucked, but it is what it is. At least they tried to incorporate him into it. It wasn't a complete cock out of the character.
Yeah.
Well, how do we feel about him doing his own dirty work, like coming after her mother on his own? How do we feel about that?
Yeah, that seems weird to me.
It might be like desperate times because he's out of fucking guys because like the syndicates are dead at this point, you know?
He had like 1,000 men. Like I'm telling you, this man must have put like a job search on Indeed, like local henchmen, like please apply here, because there was an indisposable amount of trust bro dudes in tracksuits during that freaking fight montage with Hawkeye.
Yeah, oh yeah.
and Kate. I was like, dude, like he hired all of like New York.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
I don't
guys.
know why he was doing his own thing, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless there's like a personal reason for it, which I'm not quite sure.
I wish they showed it more, you know, because he's a character that he's unhinged very easily, and Daredevil shows that. They very briefly hinted at it with, you know, how quick he was willing to be like, yes, Maya, she needs to die, you know, like that's classic Kingpin. It's like the slightest inconvenience. He's like, all right, kill them. But
Yeah.
like I needed to see more like rage and like grinding of the teeth when it came to that. Not just let me rip off your car door in like a shining
You
moment.
wanted
where
to
he's like,
see
"Here's-"
see his controlled aggression before him like fucking
Yes.
losing it.
Yeah,
I
they
guess.
they need more episodes. They really needed more episodes.
Yes. This was too
Probably so.
short.
Yep. I completely think that now. That
Yeah.
they just needed more episodes. 6 is not enough.
For it supposedly being like a short story of like a quick little narrative, they fucking wasted a lot of time still. Felt like
Yep.
I think the ending, especially for how they did Kingpin, like you said, John, is cuckaroo. Just total cuckaroo. Oh my God.
they just had Maya pull a gun up to his head and zoomed out around the corner and hear a gunshot.
If it's
Yeah.
anything like the comics, what they're setting up for is this kind of like he's temporarily blinded thing, which
The
I
eye
wish
patch?
they, yeah, yeah, I wish they set that. I don't even think it's that. I think he just like briefly, because he's like bulletproof, and the show kind of illustrated that, but
He's
I
got
wish
a
they did it a little
bullet hole
better.
in his head and he's perfectly fine though.
Right, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm taking it as like, does this guy have bulletproof like eyelids? Like, is he just gonna have bandages briefly and he's gonna get his sight back? Because that's what the comic storyline I'm pretty sure was. I
Yeah.
don't remember him like
But
being
that would also be
permanently
interesting if
blind.
he actually got blind, because that would make him just like his like main
His
enemy in
arch
Daredevil.
nemesis.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
That would
But
that would
yeah,
be interesting.
they cut a lot of corners with Maya's story because comics she's supposed to have interacted with Daredevil before, doing this. It's supposed to be completely integrated. Like she's sent after
Bro, even
Daredevil.
like her, like they could have done a short, tiny little scene, her meeting up with Foggy and her breaking into his office or something, and she's like, "Tell me everything you know about Wilson Fisk right now," and then he fucking spills the beans and says, "Hey, look,
Oh, I
he's
would
this
love that.
terrible character, and like he's a terrible guy that's done all these awful things. My best friend's like has had so many personal experiences with him. He's a dangerous dude. Don't trust him. Blah blah blah," or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
Or like,
Like
she works for him. She should have like been like having memories or like flashback scenes where she like saw something that he did that was like, this doesn't sit well with me.
Anything like they just needed to tell us what she was thinking or what she was
Yeah.
going through with it, you know? That's what they
Yeah.
missed out for sure.
just a couple more episodes would have been perfect.
And one thing everyone really enjoyed was the trick arrows and whatnot, the Hank Pym little arrow turning the fucking
Yeah. And then the owl swooped.
Yeah,
That was
that
good.
was that was pretty
I like
goofy.
that. He's like, I need to talk to Scott about that thing, and then he's like, never mind. the owl resolved that issue.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter now. Kind
Not
of
my
dark
problem.
for an
Very
MCU
dark.
show.
Yeah, he's got like.
I
a
was thinking
permanent
about that. I was like,
plaything.
this show has had a lot of murder, dude.
For real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like
Um,
PG-13 off-screen murder, but it's like, damn, dude, that's a lot.
Very implied death. Great.
Yeah.
It's a bit morbid too. It's like, yeah, then the 4 guys were eaten alive by a fucking owl. It's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to think about it. Kind
Prometheus?
of
What's
thing.
happening now?
Yeah.
But
And then what happens at the end? We get so we get that the off-screen death. We get them getting patched up. The
Confirmation.
mom goes to jail.
Yeah.
oh
That was
yeah,
Confronts the mom.
Setting
She
her up
goes-
as a future villain, and I hate it. I hate it.
I hope not. I feel like that's like where the end is, but that's like who knows what they have planned. I hope that's just like the end. Like who cares about her mom now? I don't give a shit.
I really don't.
I
but
don't care
know-
either.
I feel it in my bones. They're gonna be like, "You sent me to prison.
Yeah.
Your own mother. Look what you made me do." They're gonna do that.
Ugh. Like a Tony Stark villain. You made
Honestly,
fun
yeah.
of my machine and called it
Yeah.
barf. Ugh.
Hey man, they'll be talking
You
shit on
made
Jake
fun of my
Gyllenhaal.
haircut.
What about oh fuck me, what was I gonna say?
The
God,
Watch.
sure,
Yeah, The
go
Watch.
for it.
The Watch. They pretty much.
I don't like
I,
The Watch.
I haven't thought about that since fucking the last episode.
they
I hate The
pretty
Watch.
much confirmed that Hawkeye's wife.
Oh
is
yeah,
Abby
that.
Morse, and
No.
that she is Mockingbird,
No.
which
No, stop.
pretty
No,
much
I hate it.
decanonizes.
Boo.
Freaking decanonizes Agents of Shield 100%.
It
Yeah,
was
that
pretty much
sucks.
already was, but I love that. You guys need to watch that since I'm watching.
I know
Daredevil.
you've deal. That,
Deal,
we can do
deal.
that.
The
Yeah,
first
I'll-
season's rough. There's a lot more seasons of that though, so
Alright.
it's not quite a fair trade.
You got yourself a deal.
I was gonna
But,
ask you
yeah,
guys actually.
Flies right.
I forgot I was gonna ask you guys about your thoughts on the Echo show, but go ahead, finish this up first.
I mean that's just about it. They go back to Clint's house. They have the
He
watch.
burns
Kate's
the
there.
suit.
They burn the suit, which doesn't seem flammable, so I don't know how,
It
but they do that.
survived the fire in her.
That's
literally.
fucking funny.
I was so angry. I was
I
like,
didn't even
bro,
think about that, but something in me
exactly.
was like, "This doesn't feel right." And then,
The writers totally thought, they're like, no one will remember that this thing
sure,
withstood an entire apartment being set on fire with Molotov cocktails, may I add.
yeah, insane. So they all have Christmas together. It's a
Yeah.
great time. They burn the suit. They have the watch, and then
The dog gets a name, and Kate
she
Bishop
does too.
gets a name as well. Yes,
It's heavily implied that she will call herself Hawkeye, I
precisely.
believe. So
Yep,
that's where it ends.
pretty much.
All right.
With the worst post-credit scene ever.
Oh, what was it?
I would have rather seen the
musical.
owl
Oh,
devour
yeah!
these poor bastards than what we saw.
The fucking
Yeah, they didn't even pay it off. It was just the whole musical
Full-
number, nothing
Full
else.
cut of the musical number.
It was so cringy.
Yeah.
I suppose it was supposed to be, but it was hard to watch.
yeah. Pass, skip
No.
on that one, please.
All right. So you were gonna say Johnny.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what everyone's ratings were for the show.
I thought you said you wanted to ask about the Echo Show.
Oh yeah, the Echo Show. Yeah, they're doing a solo Echo Show, right? For Maya.
Yep.
That's what they've said. Yeah.
You're like, that's
It's
their
not
shit.
too
I
soon
don't
to
know
go
about
back on
that.
it.
Yeah,
Um,
they could cancel it. Who knows?
What do you guys think about her being a main character, or main role? What do you guys think about it? Think she's strong enough character, strong enough
I think
actress?
she
has
has the
potential.
memory for her lines. Yes, yes. Sorry, that might have been a horrible joke. It's I want them to fix a lot of her character, and I think that she needs a strong supporting cast because her alone isn't enough.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah, it could be good. It has potential,
It
especially
does.
based on the comics, which I don't know too much about. Like I think she's essentially like what's his face and can copy moves just by like
Taskmaster?
watching some. Yes, Taskmaster. She's very intelligent in that sense and can copy and mimic moves quite easily. So like in that sense, if they build that a little bit, it could be interesting to see her do that. But as she's developed in this show, it seems a little bit rough. They have a little bit of ground to make up.
She seems
before
very
becomes
forgotten and like dismissed and just kind of swept under the rug.
Precisely.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't. She had like a I don't know, but seemed like it was supposed to be a hype introduction in the show where it was just like showing her. I was like, who the hell is this?
They came
I
out
didn't even.
strong with her introduction, and they did nothing to carry that the entire.
Yeah, like they needed
series.
to I don't know, emphasize it a bit more. Like really, because like in the context of even when she was introduced, I was like, who is this chick supposed to be?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Echo. She gets her own show. That's why I remember her. That's it.
I imagine if she gets her own show, they're gonna pull flashback scenes out of their ass left and right. Mainly because we never got an explanation as to how she lost her leg. I don't know if either of you thought about that.
Yeah, I did see that. You're right. I don't know. They'll
Was
have a lot.
something that I was like, that
do.
should have been a very important thing. How did this woman somehow get a freaking robot leg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't just some casual thing. Something serious happened. And
Yeah, they
never
probably put that in there just so that they could have a story about it in her show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just character development, losing a leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, if she has a show, the likelihood of Wilson Fisk coming back, probably 100%. He'll probably be the main villain. There's also the likelihood that they'll bring in Daredevil, Matt Murdock, because
I would
you
think
can't
so
really
because
tell
you
the
have the
story
deaf.
without him.
She's deaf. He's blind.
Yeah.
It's just
Exactly.
a
It writes
story
itself.
about disabilities.
Yes.
Yeah. This
It could be
was
interesting.
show talked a lot about, which is always important, to
Mhm.
bring problems to real life so it can be more acceptable and just more of a norm for people and stuff, which is always nice, but it was just very weird and on the nose at some points of just like forcing there's a lot of this going on right now with the hearing aid stuff, with Echo, with just like everything kind of at once. It's just like, damn, dude. It's like you've never seen any of this stuff before, and there's like all of a sudden it's just like flooded on screen.
Yep.
Now.
Popping up like daisies. It's like you're kind of discrediting it by doing so much of it. And it's
Yeah.
like all of these stories are so personal and important and uplifting.
I loved Maya's like introduction to her character, her flashback
Yeah, that was a
scene
great
and stuff
episode.
like that. Yeah,
It
that was
was
episode
phenomenal.
3, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Well,
yeah.
the best episode of the show. Yeah.
Best episode of the show. Yep. Carried.
I guess that just leaves us with actual ratings for this episode then.
Yeah.
I give it a 6.
What do I want to give it?
Come on, gonna be kind. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7.
7.
I will second that 7. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second 7.
Well, you say 6 3/4 then.
Fair enough.
All right, 6
Sounds good.
3/4. 6.75, everybody. But yeah, that's gonna be our official review for the first season of Hawkeye, guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed all of the episodes that we dropped for you guys. This was a lot of fun. Sorry that Tony could not make it here today for the finale. But yeah, this was a banger. Leave us some comments, guys, down below. This was some support for some, so we can return to you guys with some future reviews. So our boss Apex will allow it. He'll look at the numbers and he'll think about it. Give us a job, give us a reason to be here, everybody. Come on.
Please.
Yes. Make sure to drop that support. But we'll see you guys later on the next review series. But until then, bye, everybody.
Peace. Bye.